Hi, I'm Ashwin Sanghi. You may have read some of my books. Started with the Rosabal line, then Chanakya's chant, the Krishna key, and of course my latest, which was co-authored with James Patterson, Private India, and my soon to be released non-fiction work, 13 Steps to Bloody Good Luck. And I'm delighted to be here with you today. A little bit about me. Well, I'm a Marwadi businessman turned thriller writer, very strange combination indeed. And well, what I live for is really my writing. I've always maintained that before I became a writer, then what I lived for was my work. Now I live for my writing, and of course there are two other passions in my life, which is my wife and my whiskey. So these are the 4 W's of my life. You know, my greatest qualification in life was the fact that I was a wonderful liar. And so when you know how to spin a tale, when you know how to spin a yarn and make it sound very, very real, I think that's the ultimate qualification for a fiction writer. Plus I grew up in a family where my grandfather in particular used to tell me all sorts of wild stories. My grandfather was from UP, and the UP Walas have this wonderful habit of being able to intersperse fact and fiction, and you never know when you are going from one to the other. So that is pretty much what my DNA is. And there was a time in my life where I realized that I, at the end of the day, just wanted to be a storyteller. So I even today do not think of myself as a writer. I am fundamentally at heart a storyteller. The reason that I wrote under a pseudonym was simply because when I wrote my first novel, the initial reviews that came out, the very first review that I received was, "Mr. Sanghi, this is a good novel, but it should have stopped on page 10. So given those circumstances, I was just worried about the number of people who were going to line up to throw stones at me. So it was just easier to let the pseudonym take the flak. And so I was one day playing Scrabble, and I had a bunch of letters in front of me, and I just took the letters of Ashwin Sanghi and jumbled them up on a Scrabble board, and I landed up with Sean Higgins, which was the pseudonym I used for that first book. But thereafter, of course, my publisher, my publisher Westland, said that, look, how the hell are we going to market this book under the name Sean Higgins? So that was the day I decided to kill Sean Higgins and resurrect Ashwin Sanghi. The nature of what we do in terms of creative process is such that there is no way that you are going to please everyone. It's impossible. And the moment you try and please everyone, your work is going to take a back seat. So you have to be prepared that when you do something, there are some people who are going to love it, and there are some people who are going to hate it. And honestly speaking, I don't have a problem with either being loved or being hated. What I don't want is to be ignored. So I would much rather be loved and hated. It depends actually in terms of what I am writing. For example, when I was writing Chanakya's chant, the entire ancient story of Chanakya's chant was written early morning, because I would get up early morning by around 4:30. I would light an agarbatti. I would have a sacred chant playing in the background, and that would be the basis on which those memories, those sensations of an ancient time would enter my system. On the other hand, when I was writing the modern part of the story, which was written entirely independently, I wrote it all at night. At that time, I would pour myself a peg of whiskey, light up a cigar, and that was when I wrote the modern story. So yeah, I don't think it's about time. It's about what gets you motivated, what gets you into the mood to be able to describe that perfectly. There's no writer's block that a bottle of whiskey does not cure. The fact of the matter is that those who talk about writer's block, at the end of the day, the way I see it is that take for example what I do with my thrillers. I normally will spend 3 months or 4 months in terms of developing a plot outline. Then I will spend probably another 6 months in terms of research. By this time, a year has gone by, and it's after that full 1 year that I'll actually sit down to start writing. Now at that point of time, I have every nuance of that story plotted out. it's almost like giving a child a coloring book where the outlines have already been drawn, and the child only has to sort of color in the green and the red and the blue. How difficult is that? That's precisely what I do, because I've already done the outlines. I've spent that 1 year fleshing out the outlines. I only simply need to do coloring when I'm writing, so I never face writer's block. I would say probably one of the books that changed me entirely was Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, because that was a book which taught me that it is possible that just because I don't believe something, it doesn't mean that it is not real, and that there is very little to distinguish between the real and the unreal. So I think it opened up my mind in that sense. I think probably another book which sort of really moved me was a book called Lolita by Nabokov, because I realized that there are times when a person may be doing completely evil stuff, but at the same time you could have a strange sense of empathy with even someone who is doing evil stuff. So that was a book which sort of opened up my mind. I think probably the book that I always return to whenever I am down is probably the Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam, the translation by Fitzgerald, because that was a book which my grandfather gave to me, and it's a rare 1940s edition. But I always return to it because every time I start on a different page and I find a new meaning in what is being conveyed. So it's one of those rare breeds of books where you can find a different meaning every time.